Hey everyone, welcome. This is the fall 2022 update for the N-Scale Southern Alberta Rail. It's been a long time coming. I think the last time we touched base was back in April or May. So let's see what I got up to over the summer. Pretty much the whole summer was spent outside trying to get a project further along that I'd started back in 2020. I started replacing railway tie retaining walls with concrete back then, just before the price of materials shot through the roof. Of course, in 2022, prices came down somewhat reasonable and I got back at it. So outside, building forms and getting ready to pour concrete. There was a pretty high demand for concrete up here over the summer, so it took till the end of August before we actually got anything poured into the forms. After letting everything set and cure for a week, forms came off first part of September. My wife ended up taking a week off work just in time for 10 yards of road crush to show up. We spent the next few days packing material in behind the wall, and this is where we shut the project down mid-September. Back in the early spring, I had agreed to host an op session the end of September for the Northern Rails group that was coming through town. Looking back at one of the earlier updates, we talk about this backtrack where you see these cement cars in the foreground. This is an important piece of track as it's a set-out spot for empty cement cars bound for the Summit Lime plant. Now, Summit Lime hasn't been on the layout for a while, and I figured it was important to get it put back into place for the upcoming op session. The backtrack that acts as a set-out point for the cement cars is located at Crow's Nest. Immediately to the east, the tracks have to follow Island Lake before they get to the location of the Summit Lime works. If we look on Google Maps here, you can see that Island Lake is on the left side, or the west. You've got Crow's Nest Lake on the right. And a good portion of the area taken up between the two lakes is occupied by the Summit Lime plant and the quarry itself. Now, I like to use a deadline as inspiration when I'm not really feeling working on the layout. So with 2 weeks to go, 15 feet of roadbed came out, all the scenery in the affected area, and I started relaying roadbed track, managed to get the fascia on, tortoises put in place, and everything operational. I threw the last coat of paint on the fascia the night before the op session. Didn't have a chance for a proper mocked up structure, so Medusa cement, or the belly button of cement plants, had to serve as a stand-in for the group the next day. We were really lucky to have a great October up here, so I spent some time outside laying patio stones. Of course, it wasn't long before the snow hit, and once that happened, it forced me back down into the basement, and I managed to get my mock-ups done for the Summit Lime plant. You can see here that it's just foam board construction thrown together really quick, but it's conveying the look that I'm going for, and it's going to give me a template to build the permanent structures when the time comes. If you're interested in the process I'm going through with Summit Lime, head on over to the members section. I've got a 6-part series so far on what I've gotten done and all the different steps I've taken to get here. All right, that pretty much covers what I have gotten done. Now let's look to the east of Summit Lime to show you what I want to get done over the course of the winter here. So this roadbed here is a little bit of the continuation of stuff that I changed in the last little bit. We're approaching the west switch at Sentinel. There's a siding at Sentinel here about 22 feet long. Now I'm going to move the siding around the corner about 15 feet. So the corner in the distance, the siding is going to go up against the other wall. And if we look at this prototype picture here, this is a picture taken by a friend of mine, AJ Schuin. This shows exactly the scene that I want to try to recreate here, including off in the corner. You can see the tracks curving off to the right. Well, that's how we're going to transition from north wall to east wall of the house. And my power box is right in the corner there, so I'll be able to hide it with some scenery. By reworking this entire area, it's taken my lakefront running from about, say, 30 feet to closer to 60 feet. And that's going to give me the opportunity to really do justice to this signature scene that you see here. This is a picture taken by another friend of mine, Trevor Sokolin, off of Highway 3, looking across Crow's Nest Lake. Looking at another one of AJ's shots, we have a tighter view of the same area, and what looks like a cave is actually an aquifer. So water pours out of the mountain right here, drops down behind the tracks, flows under through a culvert into the lake itself. Now with the extra space I've given myself along the wall here, I'm going to be able to do justice to this scene. It's something I've wanted to model ever since I picked the Crow's Nest sub as a prototype. So that's the plan over the course of the winter. Get that siding moved around the corner, get all the lake district here roughed in scenery wise, and continue on with finished scenery from up at Summit Lake and the Crow's Nest siding area moving east. So if you like this kind of stuff, make sure you sub up and keep touch with what's going on. I'm hoping to be able to bring monthly updates as I move forward. If you like this kind of video, a like would be much appreciated. And if you want to follow along with even more detailed instructions, step-by-step stuff, consider becoming a channel member. Anyway, that's it for this one, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.